every video game from like the 90s could benefit from jock jams.
There was a video game that had it, I think.
Wasn't it like NBA Jam or something?
No, it wasn't even a sport. It was a shooter. It was like a 2D R-type style shooter.
What shooter had jock jams?
I'll have to find the video for you. Or if I actually leave this in the recording, then I'll actually have to explain it by the end of the episode. But yeah, the game is called Biometal for the Super Nintendo. Biometal. You're welcome. Holy shit. There's straight up, and I was watching a Continue episode, and they're playing it, and like, wait, what's that song? And then they're just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Jock jam.
That's Axel F.
Do the crazy frog.
Oh God, crazy frog. Bring his dick back.
God damn it.
Why'd they circumcise the frog?
He had it coming. That's why he's crazy.
Gets his dick cut off, and suddenly you go crazy. I'd be more pissed. Get it?
So, welcome back, everyone.
Enough of the dick murder. Hey, everybody, I'm John.
And I'm James.
And this is Games with John and James, and we're back for 2022, y'all. We made it.
Question mark?
Welcome to year 3 of our 2-month lockdown.
So, I hope everybody had a good holiday. Hope everyone had a good new year. Hopefully you're bringing in 2022 with a bang. I know I am. If you remember, we had Games with John and James replay, and a subject near and dear to my heart that I want to discuss. A few episodes back, I challenged John to play a game called Lost Sphere, and he recommended for me Dead Rising.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out, found a copy of the original Dead Rising, purchased it, played it. It was a thing.
Uh-huh. Go on. Tell how much you loved it.
I probably won't play the game again.
Oh.
But in my playthrough, I did enjoy just being able to grab anything, destroy zombies, like legit just straight up destroy zombies. The picture taking was kind of fun. But then I found the samurai sword, and that's where my enjoyment came through. Just seeing pieces of zombie fly everywhere made me so happy.
Yeah. What'd you think of the story? Crazy shit, right?
Early 2000s. No, sorry, mid 2000s chaos at its finest for video game storytelling.
Very ham-fisted, very Capcom's way of just like, this message is the message of the story.
It was, they kind of just thrust it into your face. It was
yeah, totally.
Eat this! Take my story now! Shove it down your throat!
It's when Dr. Barnaby realizes he's dying and he's just kind of like, do you have any idea how much cow you fat white people eat?
God damn it.
It's like we know. But then again, you're also wearing a Servbot helmet as you're like listening to him talk, so it's like, okay.
Like, I think the biggest thing that frustrated me, so I remember do the intro mission, finally get to the safe spot. I go up on the roof because I have to find the old couple.
Uh-huh.
And I find them, I guide her back, they have their reunion. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I figure the AI is smart enough to take elevator into safe room.
The safe room isn't downstairs.
Wherever it was. Like, I figure they're smart enough to go to the safe room. And so I'm moving forward. I meet the other photographer dude. I'm supposed to take a photo of him. And all of a sudden, I see old people dead.
Ken Williams died. It's like, whatever.
And I'm like, damn it! I just rescued you!
Why didn't you fucking assholes go squeeze into the vent like I do? Did you save any survivors?
I don't think there was a single one saved. Because they kept dying.
Are you kidding me?
I was horrible.
Wow.
I killed a lot of zombies, though.
Okay, that's the mission.
I took revenge.
Wow. You didn't save a single survivor? How did you beat the game?
Actually, no, the photographer guy lived. There were a couple
Oh, you
survivors.
didn't do his mission. Fuck, okay.
Yeah, there were a couple survivors that lived.
Uh-huh.
But for the most part, it was dead. You remember the intro, like, where the old lady's like, oh, my dog!
Yeah.
And lets them in?
Yeah.
Literally, so I'm fending them off with a bench.
Well, like, that's one of those, like, supposed to lose type fights where Frank
and
escapes.
Literally all you see is dead.
Yeah,
dead.
that's supposed to happen, though. That's the intro.
I wake up. on my first mission, while I'm on the roof, rescuing old people, dead. And I'm like, what? Where the hell are you? I've never even seen these people and you're dying.
Yep.
So that was frustrating. I will say, though, for a once playthrough, it was pretty fun. It was enjoyable. Like, hack and slash and seeing body parts go everywhere, especially with a samurai sword. Awesome. Yeeting plants at zombies and just seeing them get laid out. Awesome.
Yep.
Standing back and watching the other photographer dude, like, hurricane kick zombies was hilarious.
Yep. The game definitely has personality, and that's what is the whole sticking point for that. The first game is outdated, but I played that game to death when it came out, so like I have a really big soft spot for it. That entire franchise, I fucking love it.
I can tell. So I probably won't play the first one ever again, but I would be open to trying the rest. So you have convinced me to at least try the rest.
I'll say if you want like the similar experience but a bit more polished with the ability to make combo weapons, that's Dead Rising 2. If you want something a bit more streamlined and a bit more open world, like full-on open world, so there's no loading screens, Dead Rising 3's got you covered. 4 technically does too. And 4 is where everything just goes completely out of control, and you can like, you know, turn a Slurpee machine into a robot that shoots ice tornadoes.
All right. I've arrived, ladies and gentlemen. So that was my take. John, how did you feel about Lost Sphere?
I still haven't beaten it yet.
Bastard.
But those games exhaust me because there's just so much stuff that I'm so used to when it comes to playing video games that this game likes to just completely throw out the window. So like I have to break it down because I'm at the point where I'm at level 15 and I just went into like the cave and the huntress woman tried to kill me. I got past that point. But if there's a bit of a stopping, there's me trying to actually think about my words, but also I have a residual cold flu symptoms. So if I just need to take a breath or go, sorry about that in advance. Anyway, there's a scene in the opening where like they tell you to go ring the bell that's, you know, in the town square so that like it warns people that monsters are happening. And then I'm like, okay, so that's a thing that might come into play. It's definitely, you know, foreshadowing. It's going to get rung and then you're going to, you know, I know story structure, so I'm just like, okay, this bell is going to ring. It's going to go crazy. So you go off and you go catch like a fish to eat, and then you come back, and then like the game stops you and says, then you hear the bell, and I'm like, oh shit, something's going on in town. And then the characters appear on screen and are just like, hey, is that the bell? What's going on? Oh my god, there's smoke coming from the village. It's like, why not just show me the smoke? Or why does it feel the need to explain it? I hate that so much. Like, I don't need to be on the same level. Like, I'm past the characters every single time. And the only thing that keeps... it's just frustrating because, like, when I got to the actual combat, like, turn-based games are fine. Like, they're just fine. They're not my cup of tea, but they, you know, serve their purpose, right? This game innovates in that way, where you can, like, move and position yourself on the battlefield, and, like, if you have characters who shoot, they can shoot through, or, like, if you get in the circle, like, you can do group attacks and stuff. That's really cool, because it actually has, you know, my input. My agency as a player is making something happen in the gameplay, right? That's all I really want from my video games. But it keeps getting in its own way, and they just talk incessantly about stuff we already know about, or it's, you know, the most ham-fisted way to be like, here's how his character's defined, here's how the little boy gets killed. It's like, oh, God, just, I want to see it happen. I don't need to be told it's happening.
You sound like you're pulling your hair out over there. I think you're going bald.
I replaced it with my beard. Anyway. But, no, like, it's, when I say, because it's exhausting. We're like, man, I can't wait to go walk over there and talk to that person just to walk back and talk to another person. Like, why not just have me be at the person? Why does it need to have the open world and have you explore things if they don't do anything? Like, I found out about the totems, right? The little things you can actually put so it actually gives you, like, boons in the world where, like, you can run faster or, like, it displays enemy health and stuff. I'm like, that's gameplay. Like, that's something that affects your gameplay and combat and your involvement in the world. That should really be the centerpiece right there. Like, the things that are mechanically part of the game, or at least part of, like
I guess the big question, are you going to finish this game, or have you reached your breaking point?
I have not reached my breaking point yet. I need to get the little boy back in my party, which again, there was one scene that I thought was pretty commendable. I liked it. It was when you come back and like the general is like a total dick. He's like, if that boy pushed my guards, he'd be sent to tribunal, and I'm the big important man. And then your main character just socks him. I'm like, oh, that's emotion. That's something that the characters in the story, like, and that's an actual connection to the character and emotions and things that are actually important in games like that actually happening. It's not them basically like walking away. It's like, I should have punched that guy like I was expecting it to do. Like he just gets laid him out. It's like, bam. Like like a thing happened. That's the way I'm describing it. A thing happened and I was happy.
The things that happen that make me enjoy the game.
But
John.com.
Yeah, and like there was another scene later where they talk about the little boy. I've changed their name so many times that I don't remember his real name. But
little boy. That's mildly concerning that he's just little boy now. John, stop.
John, stop. I'm just calling him Josh because he has got red hair.
Joshy.
Hey, Joshy. But like, so Josh is in the hospital and they keep telling you he's in the hospital. It's like, why not go see him in the hospital? You know what I mean?
Because it doesn't matter.
Then why is it happening at all?
Because it doesn't matter. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just trying to heckle you.
I know you are. This is the entire point of the podcast.
Oh, so the podcast is me heckling you.
Yeah.
Duly noted.
But no, it's like when the game gets out of its way and there's actually that sense of adventure or exploration or something like that, like it's good. It's just that it takes its time to be like, here's why the game's good. Here's why this is happening. Let's talk about this. It's like how in RPGs, I don't talk to any NPCs at all. I just don't, because they have nothing for me. And it's like, well, how do you find side quests? I don't present them to me. Like,
so you go against the game mechanics because you're like, you're not coming to me. I don't care.
Well, yeah, because again, like you just said, because it doesn't matter. Well, then why do it at all? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point? What are we doing here? So it's just.
So you are going to finish it, which I commend you highly.
I do plan to finish it because when it gets out of its way and I can actually do stuff, it's fun. The only other thing I'll nitpick about is, so the whole premise is that he has to rebuild the world that are lost because of the lost fog and stuff because he has memories, right? Now, when that's presented in things like story structure and game mechanics and stuff, or even just in art style, there's a term called abstraction, and it's representing motifs or themes and story ideas and stuff in some visual medium, right? So you see him like pull out like a crystal or something, and then that makes the memories come back. Now, to me, as a player and someone who watched him in the dream sequence talk to the king and have him bring back and that kind of stuff, who is just apparently a time-traveling lost wizard now, so he's back. What the fuck? Anyway.
RPG tropes.
And now we have robots. Okay. No, but... and like, so when he pulls out the crystal or something like that, or he's like rebuilding stuff, and people are like so mesmerized, like, how'd he do that? And then...
Science!
And then there's a part later where it's just like, we realize you're going into this dungeon, so we prepared some memories for you. And I'm like, wait, what? You are telling me that this thing that I thought the main character was the only one powerful enough to do can just get handed a bunch of freaking colorful rocks and then he can go build a bridge? Like, what the fuck is happening? I don't know what it wants me to feel with that.
God damn it, I'm not unique.
No, it's not even that. It's just, maybe it's just because that's how games were. You just go with it. Fuck it. Like, but no, I want to know. It's like, why can he do this?
You will eventually get there. I'm happy you are sticking with it, even though it sounds like it is slowly sucking your soul away, little by little.
It's exhausting.
So, would you recommend it to others?
That's your scene, man. Go ahead.
So you'll let me recommend it, but you won't.
Because I think there are games that kind of do things.
Hi, John, can you recommend an RPG for me? Go see James. But why? I want to talk to you, John. I don't fucking do RPGs. Get out of here, kid.
Go play the Santa Claus 3 The Escape Clause on Game Boy Advance.
Mom, John won't talk to me.
What's your mom gonna do?
I don't know. Well, apparently if it was my mom, if you remember back from our Christmas special, just yeets a controller. Oh, you don't want to talk to my boy, John? Well, bam! Critical hit.
Catch. Anyway, no. If you are an RPG aficionado, if you appreciate the medium, by all means. I don't think it's going to sell any new fans on anything, but it's a good version of what it is. But I can think of other games that I think do the things that I like about it a bit better.
So you're saying I should have given you Chrono Trigger for the DS, and that one might have at least had a little more enjoyment.
That would have been cheating.
So?
That would have been cheating. Fuck you.
Everybody enjoys the trigger.
Yes, it does.
Wow, that was dark.
Everybody. Jesus Christ. When I was sick, I was doing line reads from Max Payne because I had a really deep, like, raspy voice. And God, the dialogue in that game, it's like, the past is a gaping hole, like looking down the barrel of a gun, ready to blow your head off. It's like, Jesus Christ, Max.
Take it down there, Max. It's okay, buddy. Not everybody loves your trigger. So,
Alan Wake 2, yay. I just got excited again, yay.
So that's been that's it for our replay. We wanted to actually, touch base. John followed through, I followed through. We're probably going to recommend games for each other in the future. I have to let John's RPG batteries recharge after this because I think they're almost at empty.
Yeah, it's, again, like, this is why, like, it's like a detoxing. Like, I play Halo. I'm just like,
So I should recommend a 200-hour RPG to you next.
Just give me Persona 4 Strikers. Persona 5 Strikers. What the fuck am I? I almost had to revoke my gamer card. I named the game wrong.
Yeah, you have no RPG card. Let's just admit it. Let's be real.
Yeah, I need a Visa. Also, I need to mute my phone.
Apparently, he's in love. So
and you're not? That's terrifying.
I am a cold soul.
Yeah.
I am Batman.
Here's a game I'd recommend for you too. Max Payne 2. There you go.
You guys get along great. So, oh man.
One last quick thing I'll say about the replay as well. We had Christmas, man. So, hope y'all enjoyed the holiday themed episodes we did. And to follow up, get any cool gamer stuff for Christmas?
I got a gift card.
End of segment.
Honestly, so this year wasn't much video games or anything. My wife surprised me with some pretty awesome like cold weather clothes. Like, I objectively don't dress appropriately for the weather. If you ever see me working out and it's 20 degrees outside, I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, and everybody's looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's just everybody. So she got me some awesome clothes. Did get a GameStop gift card. But the big holiday thing for me is I busted out the PSP, dusted her off, charged her up, and I jammed out on some Lunar Silver Star Harmony.
Nice.
So for those of you who haven't played it, it's a remaster of the first Lunar on the Sega CD as well as the PlayStation 1. It's the least expensive way to play this game, so if outside of emulation. So if you choose to dive back into it, get it for the PSP. It was so much fun over the holidays. It's just such a classic and chill story.
Yeah, I'd imagine. Like, I played it, I tried to play it a long time ago, and it definitely has those vibes. It has these kind of, like, not Miyazaki-esque, but very, like, chill vibes.
And the American translation, they just went for, like, raunchy humor. Your animal companion talks about titties. Like, I like titties.
Nice.
And I'm like, thanks, working design. You made it raunchy.
Thanks for saying what we're all thinking. I'll say, that's nice. As for me, I played Halo Infinite, as I said. But I also got myself an OLED Switch. That was my Christmas gift to myself.
Ooh.
So it was nice and shiny. I saw it at Target. I was actually shopping for my mom for Christmas. And then I was like, oh my God.
I did. I think I mentioned it to you, actually. I was able to score a Xbox Series X, the Halo edition.
How the fuck did you do that?
I won it in a raffle.
Oh, I just throw things out into the world and things just happen for me. Okay.
I prayed to God, and if you remember, like, when I won the 64...
that shit was so... Like, I was angry. I was like, yeah, all you do is just buy these spots, and then, like, I'll do a sample one right here. I'll buy the 64. It's like, and look who won.
And your face, like, ladies and gentlemen, John's face when that happened, he was just like, motherfucker.
This motherfucker.
So, spent $10.
$10, and you got a 64 with...
No. That's what I got the Halo Edition Xbox for. So, I'm not condoning gambling anyone by any means, but my luck was strong around the holidays.
Yeah, what the fuck? If you let's go to the next segment where I beat you up for being lucky.
Buy my Lucky Charms. Get some of James.
Oh, God. No, thank you. You want a little piece of James? Here's my pinky.
So, I mean, I hope you guys had a good holiday. Don't touch that dial. We will be back with episode 12. So thank you for sticking around for 12 episodes. Stay tuned.
Episode topic, turn-based RPGs. Are they going the way of the dodo like they should or not? Stick around.
John might die. Just a heads up.
We are about to fight for real. Don't miss it.
Fight! Finally.
You wait until I hit the recording button before you start talking.
I thought you hit it.
Well, now I did.
Oh, I hate you.
Welcome back, everybody.
So, finally, an episode near and dear my heart that has been long in the making. I've had to twist his arm over and over to do one dedicated RPGs, and we are going to talk about turn-based RPGs. Are they here to stay? Do they have a place in society anymore? Or should they be retired and become relics of the past?
I want to be glib, but I want to just be like, yeah, haha, they're old, get away. But like, you know, after playing Lost Sphere, there are certain merits to keeping turn-based games around.
I was gonna say, like, you're literally experiencing it firsthand right now, which I hope you beat the game, because if you don't, you will disappoint me.
I've done that before. It's okay.
I know. Don't disappoint Daddy James. You disappoint me, boy.
No, I'm just in the back. I was like, what's wrong, Daddy? Kyle, you stop calling me Daddy. You're 22.
Games with Little John and Daddy James.
Oh, Little John's on the show? Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did he rob from the rich?
We got... Stop. We are doing it again. We need to actually talk about the thing we want to talk about. So how do we want to break this down? Do we want to do it in terms of like the origins of it and like why it needed to be there, or like notable examples?
I say honestly, so I'm going to start with a pretty big example that came out recently. So 2020 pandemic hits. When the pandemic hits, two huge games come out. Game one, obviously, is Animal Crossing New Horizons. We've said it, it's a Zen garden. It was your way to go out without going out. The other game that came out was Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Mm-hmm.
And that game had been talked about long and hard over and over throughout the years. It was over 10 years in the making. And if you were a Final Fantasy VII purist, when you played it, it was like, what the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
The spectacle is amazing. It pushed the PS4 Pro to the limits, but it wasn't turn-based. And it divided. Like, you could legitimately see the fan base truly divided. Wah, I want turn-based. Oh, this is cool. And then, obviously, you had people, well, that's not the whole story. Well, that's not the original. Well, no, because the original was limited hardware. They could only say so much without giving you a 10-disc game.
Uh-huh.
So things like that kind of break away from turn-based. And
well, what's interesting about that is that, yeah, it's more of an action game now, but like you still have to flip through menus to pick skills and crap like that. It's very Kingdom Hearts in that way.
It definitely, like, I think that they appreciated the roots, so you still have the menus and everything to go through, but it is no longer turn-based. And the reason why I chose that is because if you play the original, that is turn-based at its finest. It is active time battle, of which you can keep on, or you could turn off and make it like legitimately enemies can't do shit until I do something.
Or you get turned into a frog.
Ribbit.
Or the thing that actually...
Budweiser.
Remember the Final Fantasy VII commercial with the Budweiser frogs? Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Final Fantasy VII.
Just make up random shit about video games.
Hey, we'll speak that into existence one day.
Oh God.
Listen to us, all you commercial makers. Final Fantasy VII Budweiser Frogs, bring it back for part 2 of the remake.
Bring it back as an NFT. People love that shit.
God damn it. But like, you look at the first one and the turn-based, like, it was awesome. It was well done. Final Fantasy VII was very innovative for its time when it came out in the late 90s. And it kind of takes me to my point where you look at hardware back then, turn-based was a lot easier to do and a lot easier to push out to the masses. Because you did have some action RPGs, like look at the Mana series, like the Secret of Mana, Trials of Mana, Legend of Mana.
Yeah, and those were like 2D for a long time. So,
you had Star Ocean, the OG Tales of series, and I think turn-based flowed better back in the day. And it made your game more streamlined to where you could do more with less.
Yeah, it's because the way that I always thought about it, and the reason why a lot of these like turn-based systems were in place is because the reason you were playing the game was to facilitate some type of story or fulfill some type of narrative. Like a lot of the why we call them JRPGs now is because a lot of like RPGs developed differently in America and in the East. Because the East developed out of like the kind of eroge genre type stuff, where you're basically like reading a visual novel. But the gameplay element came in where like you do something like Dragon Quest, where it's like there's a slime, hit it. So push A on the hit button, and then bam, you hit him for like 5 points and get some gold.
They were definitely a product of their time, and I think like we'll even go back to the NES days, the OG turn-based Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest. Those were the two big OGs, right?
You're not talking about Crystallis or frickin'...
That wasn't turn-based.
No, I'm fucking around.
Like, what are you doing here?
I'm just like, I know games too.
I mean, if we want to talk about a brutally unforgiving and probably harder than Dark Souls game, we can definitely talk about Chrysalis, because that game, holy shit!
Yep.
Like,
thank you, Sunsoft.
You would break your Nintendo 3 or 4 times over before you beat that game.
Was that Sunsoft or was that SNK? Now I gotta look it up. Hold on. Keep entertain the masses.
John is deep diving over there. So we wanted to talk about this because, as you can hear him typing, he's definitely searching for this.
That
because
was SNK, yeah.
Oh,
neat. All right.
Facts.
Game facts with John and Jack.
Not James. He has no facts.
It's like the idea is like, it needs to rhyme. What do I say?
John and Tron.
John Tron. He did not speak the he who should not be named.
Say his name 3 times and he appears.
If he did. We can't do this. I want to keep making jokes and just be like, hey, isn't this funny? Let me Google this.
John Tron.
No!
You summoned the Candyman.
He just comes in through, he's like,
So, RPGs, honestly, if you look at gaming today, JRPGs and RPGs are a huge part of the market nowadays. We still get our AAA titles, like John is really enjoying Halo Infinite right now.
Hell yeah.
I loved Tales of Arise last year, but if you look at it, RPGs have blown up so much. Like, if you look at the games released throughout the year, like last year, I can probably quote you 500 JRPGs to the maybe 20 other ones I can, quote you. And obviously there are more than those 20. But in my opinion, like, it's kind of dominated the environment with the rise of popularity of anime, the weeaboos, and all that crap.
Yeah.
And
the nerds have taken over, and now it's not counterculture, it's just culture.
Yep, exactly. We're here to stay.
And you're going to deal with it.
So I think I want to, like, there are games coming out where turn-based is still relevant. So Project Triangle Strategy is the new big game coming out.
That's like a tactical RPG, right?
So a strategy RPG. It implements kind of a rock, paper, scissors format for its combat. Akin to like Fire Emblem, like swords beat axes, blah blah blah.
What's happening right now though is that I'm not saying this is like a scatter shot or something like that, but it feels like there's just so many variables when it comes to turn-based anything, right? So like when you have a tactics game like that is about like, it's kind of like chess. It's about positioning and putting the right game pieces in the right place. So that's just game mechanics, period. Right?
Exactly.
So like chess isn't going to go away. it's not antiquated. It's still chess. You know what I mean?
And I agree. Like, so my opinion personally, so like John had brought it up, like, is it something that is here or is it a relic of the past? I think there's still a home for turn-based RPGs. So kind of taking you through the annals of history. Like we did talk about Final Fantasy. We talked about Dragon Quest. You advanced to the 90s. The Super Nintendo was kind of the big start of the JRPG craze in the West. Your Breath of Fires, your Lufias, your Chrono Triggers, Super Mario RPG. Really fun one, by the way. Play that one.
I was just sitting back here and I'm like, Chrono Trigger, what's that?
Is this where I get to go off on a tangent on Chrono Trigger?
No.
No, James. Bad James.
I could just hit the stop button anytime I want.
But you had all of those, and then you still had the Final Fantasies that were coming out, the Dragon Quests that were coming out, but all of them were turn-based for the most part. Turn-based was the norm. It was the accepted. And then you had games like Illusion of Gaia, you had Terra Enigma, you had the...
Secret of Mana, even.
Secret of Mana, like action RPG, right? And it was vastly different than the action RPGs we're used to today. But that's when you started to see a little bit of a new insert. Turn-based still dominated the PlayStation 1. Like every RPG you can think of on the PlayStation 1. Lunar, Legend of Legaia, Final Fantasy 7 through 9, Final Fantasy Tactics, Grandia, keep on going, Arc the Lad. They're all turn-based in some form or fashion, or a strategy or turn-based RPG.
Dude, I think about just even sitting here, it's like Pokemon, man. That's the biggest franchise in the world, and it's a turn-based game.
Still is. It might be different now, though, with the Legend of Arceus that comes out this month.
I want to play that very much.
I keep hearing people talk about it, and the line that cracks me up with that game is, "You're going to catch them with a wooden Pokeball." That's going to kill them.
They're going to suffocate.
There's no technology. How is a small ball of wood going to capture an Arceus?
It just knocks them out, and you just drag them back to your camp and eat them.
Stupid video game plot holes.
Stupid video. You know, actually, that touches on something, because I wanted to talk about it really quick, because I mentioned it for Lost Sphere. One of the things that turn-based lends itself to is that form of abstraction, like I said. Like, coming back to, like, looking at even Pokemon, it's like, you know, how does this stuff work? It doesn't matter. It's an artistic rendering of a concept. You're capturing the monsters, you're trading the monsters, you're sending them, doing all this kind of stuff. You're throwing them out into the battlefield. Like, how do they fit in there? It's like, it's technology, but again, it's an artistic representation of a concept. That's what abstraction is made for. It's the same thing even going far back as Dragon Quest and Wizardry, where, like, you're fighting a slime. Okay, the graphic is representing the enemy character, but you're not on the field. You're just seeing the enemy. So what are you hitting him with? I don't know, a sword? Well, do you have a sword? Go to the shop. Use, like, it says you have a sword, and it's represented through numbers. You're hitting higher numbers. It's just math. You know what I mean? That goes as far back as pen and paper days with, like, D&D and pre-Wizardry days and stuff. So it's the way that people choose to deliver that concept. That's where turn-based really shines, and hopefully they have a good story too.
Exactly. So I think turn-based allowed for a lot more ease of storytelling, and turn-based also allowed for that abstraction you mentioned, because when the formula is tried and true, you just copy-paste, and then you insert your differentials, right? You insert what's going to make you different, what's going to change it up a little bit. That's how we got the active time battle. Mm-hmm. So you innovate in that way.
Yeah, and like it's interesting too, because we mentioned like aesthetics and stuff, and the word of the day is abstraction, folks. So the cool thing was that yes, there were good stories, and there were games that were made that would take place at different time periods or in certain things. Like there was cyberpunk and there was prehistoric. Hell, Chrono Trigger did all of them. You know, like you have a future story, you have a past story, you have a caveman story, you have a castle story, right? The whole point was that was like the engagement when it came to turn-based games. Because turn-based, this is my perspective, turn-based, by and large, wasn't the most fun thing to actually play. But the experience and the world you get to explore and those things that they had to deliver on were the only places you could really get something like good story or good music or nice art and stuff in those games.
It forced you to expand upon the rest of it. Because in my opinion, if turn-based is indeed cookie cutter to cookie cutter, and you already know that's your formula, you insert that's just a small portion of it. Now I have to make my game engaging. So with Chrono Trigger, as you mentioned, and ladies and gentlemen, he mentioned it, which touches my heart.
Your heart's not here. It's your sternum.
I touched here.
Sure.
So with Chrono Trigger, as he mentioned, you have a past, a present, and a future story. And then you have a deep past all the way back in 65 million BC. They separated themselves because they knew, hey, combat's going to be turn-based. How can we make this better? So no random battles. All the battles were on the actual map. They were on the overworld.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. No random battles walking on the map. Like the overworld, like the actual world map. That was awesome. That was very few and far in between. So they separated themselves that way. So they give themselves that big polish of combat, and then they one-up themselves even further with the story.
Mm-hmm.
The story is engaging from start to whatever finish you get.
Yep.
And I think that was the crowning achievement of what turn-based could do back in the day, is you have X. So if X is already a factor, I have to give my customers, my players, I have to give them Y, Z, and then A all the way through W.
Mm-hmm.
And that was awesome.
See, so now wants that to actually be our segue into talking about the current day. So the whole premise of us talking about this is, do they have a place anymore? I would say they do, but they have to be done like that. They have to be done in the right way. Because the thing that bugs me and is an immediate door closer for experiencing any type of RPG, even mainline franchises, I've tried to play different Final Fantasy games, I've tried to play Dragon Quest games, and they all just slam the door when I immediately am just like, I don't care. You know what I mean?
I have loaned this man countless RPGs. I loaned him Tales of Berseria. I loaned him Ys 9, Monstrum Nox. You name it. He's got Lost Sphere. I've had him try so many, and he gets burnout. Lost Sphere he is stuck through, so...
I'm trying. New year, new me.
Standing ovation. Standing ovation, please, please. Oh, thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you so much.
I'm just picturing fucking... Why does it always Citizen Kane with me? I'm just picturing him just clapping. Yeah.
Just, oh God, that not... So it's... I think nowadays... So I think segueing to nowadays, with the technology of the time, turn-based shined.
Mm-hmm.
You look at technology today, your PS5, your Series X, the Switch, and even like the Xbox One or the PS4, like the generation before.
Yeah, the main drawing point, and I don't mean to cut you off, the main drawing point of why you went to those games back then can be done, some would say, arguably better with other genres of gameplay.
So you look at, a long-running franchise, the Tales of franchise, has been action RPG since we first got Tales of Destiny and Tales of Fantasia on the PS1 and the Game Boy Advance, respectively.
Mm-hmm.
Every single Tales game is action combat. You have a couple menus you can go through, kind of Kingdom Hearts-ish, but they've never deviated from that. And with technology advancing so much more, action combat immerses you in the game so much more than what turn-based did in the past.
Well, because it's engaging.
It is.
That's the whole point. Turn-based combat, by and large, is not engaging. It's you clicking through a menu. I remember when I was playing through Persona 4, and there was a part where I thought I wasn't going to finish it. I'm glad I did. But, there was part of me that was just I don't care. I don't feel connected in any way. I stuck it through because the characters were fun, and the aesthetic was cool, and all the stuff that was going on. I fell for the honeypot of it, right?
They got you.
Yeah, but there was at least one fight where I just kept dying because I wasn't using my fire skills. I'm but I've been able to just brain people with a club or a chair or a sword or whatever this entire time. Now I suddenly have to use my actual personas. What the fuck? I have a straightforward approach when it comes to those kind of games. It's hit A, hit A, hit A.
Wow, you are gaming challenged.
No, it's not that I can't think about it. It's the fact that I don't want to.
That's fair. I think you hit the nail on the head. It has to be done in a very specific and well thought out manner, because the reality is technology isn't limiting anymore. We
can do anything we want.
Yeah. Up your vein, look at Far Cry 6. Mm-hmm. Endless opportunities within that world, from the visuals to the gameplay to the combat to the story. They could take it in any way they want. And then you look at the other way RPGs have evolved, the open world shit. Mm-hmm. Witcher 3, Skyrim.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, yeah. You're right. they give you so much more to do. And the only game in recent memory that I feel kind of elevated turn-based combat to say, hey, it can be done along with all of those quality of life improvements was Dragon Quest XI. So that came out in 2018. Amazing game. Arguably one of the best Dragon Quests of all time. They gave you the quality of life. Everybody in those old RPGs hated world travel. You literally have a horse starting out. So fast. They hated not being able to really do much in combat. So it's still turn-based combat. It's still traditional Dragon Quest, but you can move your characters in combat and position them for stuff. So you have a little more agency, as you like to say. Mm-hmm. It just so much of that quality of life improvement that you come to expect from an action RPG or an open world RPG was implemented into a turn-based one. And I think it set the bar really high, because there have been turn-based RPGs that have come out after that, I mean, they're good. Like, don't get me wrong, I love them. Every RPG I'm going to play.
Can you name one?
So right now I'm playing Astria Ascending, and that has been a lot of fun, turn-based wise. Its biggest weakness, though, is...
it's turn-based combat.
No, so I love the combat in it because both you and the enemy can exploit the combat to where it's actually challenging and engaging. Because most turn-based combat is, oh, you're weak against fire, burn.
It's Pokemon.
Exactly. Yeah. That's most turn-based combat. With this, you actually have to think and strategize. I love that. The story's kind of interesting, kind of odd. It's about a disruption of harmony in the world between the multiple races, and dissonance is happening.
So it's real life.
Yeah, you could say that. So
I thought this was a fantasy game.
No, real world, no. But the big weakness of it is if you look at it and you play it, it honestly feels like you could have done this on the phone. And that takes away, for me, a lot of the power behind it, because it kind of de-immerses you.
It feels cheap.
It feels very like, Like, it has so much cool going for it, but then at the same token, it's just kind of,
I like how we've described it before, just in our personal lives. Like, we're min-max personalities of people.
Oh, 100%.
And so when you play a game that's like, those are the worst experiences. Neutral experiences are always the worst experiences. Because if you walk away with, like, what did I even do? It's like, it was fine. It's like, that's not, there's so much more to life than it's fine, So I would rather something be the pinnacle of something or be hilariously terrible. Like, there's actually, it's funny, there was a video game Donkey video recently where he talks about English voice acting and stuff in, like, JRPGs, like old JRPGs. And it's like, yeah, just playing it in English is like just playing it on the funny mode.
The best example of that, I don't know if Donkey went over it, there's a game on the Wii called Arc Rise Fantasia. Just listen to excerpts of the English dialogue and you'll be like, you were onto something, Donkey.
It's just, I think every video game should have like a parody, like a Riff Tracks version. That would be awesome. It'd be like the anime Ghost Stories.
Bring back working design so it's all like how they did.
Oh God, I'd do it. I'd play those fucking games. Like I mentioned Persona 4 earlier. I really wish there was just a track, like a separate audio track where the kids were just like swearing. It's like, yeah, whatever, fuck you.
Fuck you, Dad.
You big a shitty king. Yeah.
Well, actually, you brought up a good franchise, one we barely even touched on in this. Persona 5, like Persona. Persona 5 is the most recent one, right?
Yes.
Along with Persona 5 Strikers.
And Royal and so many versions.
So, turn-based combat, but if you look at it, it's quality of life, and then the combat, like, unlike turn-based where your combat was a big chunk of it because of random battles, limitations of technology back in the day, combat is just kind of, it's second compared to the high school simulator, to getting to know the other people, experiencing life with them, exploring Tokyo and everywhere else. Like, the combat, it's there and it's good combat. But at the same time, you don't really play Persona for the combat anymore. You play it for everything else.
That right there that you just touched on, that is entirely the crux of the conversation. Does turn-based need to exist anymore? And if you're not there for the actual mechanics and the means of playing a video game, what are you there for? Hopefully you do knock it out of the park with a Persona or a friggin' the Arc Rise Fantasia or whatever you called it.
No, that was bad voice acting.
Right. The other one. The one you're playing currently.
Astria Ascending.
Right. Like, you don't...
You want to...
It's you can tell I'm just freezing up because I'm just kind of passionate because it feels like we're... One of the things that I like to... One of the terms I've coined between the two of us when we talk about stuff, it's how we talk past one another. And so what it is like, we're basically circling the drain right now of just like, does the turn-based combat need to exist? The answer seems like a resounding no, but we keep talking about the other things where it's like, well, it can be good, or it's been done in this way before. But like, when you just said that, when it's like, you're not there for the combat, it's like, okay, then what are you there for? Well, that's the game part. So what is the game? Dating someone in high school?
I mean, if so, Japan, you have a lot of explaining to do.
They have a lot of explaining to do for a lot of stuff. But
so I think of it, so for me personally, I love turn-based combat. I love turn-based mechanics. I love action RPGs, I love strategy RPGs, but turn-based combat just is very near and dear to my heart. I think the problem with it is it's, instead of being at the forefront, because it used to be your game, the stories, yeah, that's cool, but the combat was what engaged people. You hear so many reviewers talking about the combat system was engaging. This about the combat, X about the combat, Y about the combat.
It's because that's the nature just of games.
Mm-hmm,
They're
exactly.
adversarial. Like, you have to defeat something. I mean...
Unless you're playing Animal Crossing, what are you defeating? Bees?
Yeah, because if they sting you, they're assholes. You're defeating your ugly neighbors by making them move.
Get off my island!
I want only bears in my town.
You goddamn it.
But, like, I had a point that I wanted to make. And this, I'm going to just say this straight away. This borrows a lot from Aaron Hansen, Ego Raptor, Sequelitis, and a video essay series he's done before. And he talks about how, like, the way that video games as a medium kind of function is that when it comes to things like story, theming, character development, character growth, all that kind of stuff, you care about that stuff when it happens to you. The way that it's described is like, look at something like Mega Man X, and because he did an entire video about it.
Mega Man!
And he talks about the fight with Vile, and how, like, he doesn't have a health bar, and, like, suddenly he's just kicking your ass, and you feel weak and powerless, and all this kind of stuff. And it sets the emotional tone for the character and the entire progression of the game, because that entire design of a Mega Man game is about acquiring powers, defeating bosses, and getting stronger. And it also affected him as a character, as X, because you saw it happen to you. You saw it happen to him on the screen, but it also happened to you as a player. You know what I mean?
You feel more engaged that way.
Yeah, like, engagement is what you want.
I don't want to see turn-based go, and obviously it's not, because if you look at Project Triangle Strategy coming out in March, tentatively...
Yeah, there's no reason to throw out an entire genre of anything, or even an entire combat system or anything. It just needs to be done well.
I think, like... So what I would like to see is alternative modes for those that enjoy one way or the other. And I think, so Dragon Quest XI, again, did this well. Not in a sense of changing their combat, but in the definitive version, you can play the game traditionally, like on the PS4 graphic style and everything, or you can revert it back to 16-bit. And that's really cool, right?
That is cool, but it also sets up for me in, like, my developer mindset. It's just like, okay, that increases dev time so much.
Well, so it doesn't have to be like the graphical switch, but think about, like, they gave you a seamless switch to pay homage to what people... So there are some people that never leave. They refuse the Game Pass PlayStation 1 era, Super Nintendo era. You have so many purists that are like, this was my time gaming. I give zero fucks about all of this. Mm-hmm. Which, one... cool, I respect your opinion, but at the same time, holy fuck, you've missed out on so many awesome things.
You have any idea? Like, you just step out of a frozen sleep, like Austin Powers style.
It's, like, you have...
First Austin Powers reference on the show.
Hey-oh! Groovy, baby!
We'll make more, don't worry.
Give the ability for switching, in the sense of the more we keep producing games, the more the spectacle is going to be here. So look at the trailer we got for Final Fantasy 16.
Yep.
For all intents and purposes, that game looks like it's going to be an action RPG, and we don't know, but it very well could be Dark Souls-esque, which, who knows, could be good or bad for the Final Fantasy franchise. I don't know, because obviously we don't have much to go off of, right? They delayed it by a year.
Well, yeah, because we're still in year 3 of our 2-month lockdown.
Like, games are going to take advantage of the technology available to them, and honestly, what keeps your attention. And I think for the RPG community, I think a paradigm shift has happened. Those that truly enjoy turn-based, and that's what they care about, a lot of us are older. We're in our mid-30s to our 50s. And
we're old as fuck now.
I know, I'm old, damn it.
And back in my... want to tell you about my stories of playing Chrono Trigger?
I was there for the RPG wars.
Did I tell you about my time playing Nam on the Neo Geo?
Oh, man. But I think honestly, if things keep going, turn-based will become a relic of the past unless developers do something to where it can feel fresh again. Like Dragon Quest XI felt fresh. Astria Ascending, it feels fresh. It just also feels like I could play this on my phone, which takes a lot of immersion out of the game. Because for every well-polished, turn-based looks pretty cool, your Persona 5, you have Tales of fucking Arise, like...
Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077.
I see what you did there. But, and honestly, like, our attention span has shifted. Like, back in the day, we had so much time for whatever. Our attention span as gamers has shifted down, and you can see the difference in how games hook you. Like, it used to be the hook happened an hour, maybe 2 hours in with an RPG. Now, literally, the hook will happen 30 minutes in, tops. If that, it happens immediately.
Why is the hook 2 hours into a game?
Storytelling, bro.
No, I am immediately... You know how you engage with a video game? You do it Infamous style, where you see
So you just fall in with everything exploding?
Yes, because you're immediately like, okay, what is happening? What happened? How? Why? And then you see Cole, and then you start the tutorial.
So what you're saying is every RPG needs to start off as opening music, giant murder scene.
Yeah. Like
heavy metal pops up.
Yeah, it's called...
bad guys cut off head.
Man, you've played Final Fantasy 0.
That one opened really well. Type 0.
It did, and it got me. Because,
I know, because I let you borrow that one too.
And it has a dying chocobo, and I'm like, wow, that's really symbolic and really meaningful, but holy shit, this is boring.
So Type 0 punks you. So Type 0 gets you vested in its opening scene. It legitimately, you're just like, okay, so I'm watching a long cut. Oh my god.
When it was M-rated. Like, that blew my mind. Like, an M-rated Final Fantasy game, and I'm just like, wow, the training wheels are really going to come off, and they're going to do this. Like, no, it's just more school bullshit.
That opening scene, though, like that Chocobo scene, like, that just tears at you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
I'm sure that's why they put it in the game, but...
Can you imagine if they had followed that type of story the entirety to conclusion? Just imagine how much better that game would have been.
I would have played it. I probably would have suffered through it if it was turn-based, but it's not. Really?
Yeah, I mean, look, Final Fantasy has actually accepted the times. Like, it's not really turn-based. 15 wasn't really turn-based.
Well, like, so I think I said we were circling the drain before, but now we're just going to plug the drain a bit because really no combat system, really no way that you interface with the game is going to go away. You know what I mean? So it's not... So maybe the question isn't, does it have a place in, current era? It's like, well, of course, every video game made the way it's supposed to be made or the way the developers want to make it is going to get made that way.
Absolutely.
And I think the ultimate way to test if people still want to keep those systems around, Fortnite RPG.
I mean, you're not...
If you can make a Fortnite turn-based RPG, it's sticking around.
Minecraft, the RPG. Actually, no, they did it with Minecraft, remember? Because they have like a Dungeons Minecraft.
That's
thing.
like a Diblo clone, yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
I was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, wow, they put a game in Minecraft.
Look!
Wait, this is Roblox.
We used to be such dicks in Minecraft. My friend would set up like a teleporter activated by a red switch that you wouldn't know. So you accidentally like hopped on this moving track, hit it, and you just get transported to hell. And there's no way out.
Well, I mean, it's just like real life.
It was ridiculous.
There's no way out of hell, just like real life.
I mean, we're 3 years running.
Nervous laughter.
So honestly, with that, that's been our take on, turn-based RPGs. It's something that can still be there, but at the same time, it's becoming more and more irrelevant due to, in part, technology, due to, in part, storytelling, due to, in part, just mechanics of game in general.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things where the customer will kind of have that justification in their mind, like, I just spent $500 on a Series X or a PlayStation 5. Why are you still making triangle strategy with the pixel graphics? We don't need pixel graphics anymore. Make them different. Also, why am I waiting and playing chess on my $500, Horizon Forbidden West delivery system?
Joke's on you. That game isn't leaving the Switch.
Good. Stay there.
The Switch. You keep all pixels.
You fuck off. The Switch. Fuck you.
You're the little engine that might have could.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Tell us your thoughts in the comments or something like that. And, it's one of those things where these are the episodes I love the most because it's not about necessarily a definitive answer or us trying to debate back and forth. It's more like exploring a thought or a concept. Yeah, this is a good episode. You will like this episode.
Damn it, if you don't like this, John will cry.
I'm an ugly crier, so
Oh God, he's one of those.
I'll tell you what, we'll wind it down here, and let's take a break, and that way we can get into some New Year's resolutions. What do you say?
Yeah, that sounds lovely. Remember, don't forget your RPGs, kids. It's like your vitamins, as Hulk used to say back in the day. Hulk Hogan said, "Take your vitamins, take your RPGs."
Say your prayers, take your vitamins. Vitamins R, P, and G. Boom.
Final fantasy, brother.
All right, enough of that. We'll see you. Stick around. New Year's resolutions. It'll be fun. Oh, God damn it. I turned 33 last year. Jesus.
You're recording again, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I mean, I could have recorded earlier when we were having the actual talk, but no.
So, welcome back, everyone. We wanted to leave you with some of our New Year's resolutions. For me, this has... Last year was a very interesting year, both work-wise, fun-wise. And my big resolution this year, I love talking with all of you on the podcast. I love giving you our sense of humor, our ridiculous off-the-wall jokes.
Our sense of humor, or whatever the hell we call that. It's like that Squidward meme. It's like, is that what they're calling it now?
So, as you know, we missed a week here. So there was a week where we were off. We have a lot of big things on the horizon, and my New Year's resolution is to keep working on that because talking with John, we want to push more stuff out to you because more than just weekly episodes, there are games coming out we want to review that John may play and I might not play, or vice versa, or there are topics he's fully engaged in that I don't have a leg to stand on in conversation. So one of the surprises that we've been working on, ladies and gentlemen, if you follow us on Instagram, if you follow us on Facebook at Games with John and James, you'll have seen one of our posts where we've got a lot of big things in the work. And surprise, ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning construction of our website.
Hey.
So on that website, we're going to have links for obviously all of the podcast. We are actually also going to be transitioning over to YouTube this year, slowly but surely. And on that website, you're going to have direct links for RPG reviews, retro talks, just articles and more engagement with John and I. So we
felt it was about time.
Absolutely. Like I love doing this podcast. I love how it started. Thanks, IGN.
That's how it's going to end, too. It's like, this is our final episode 632. IGN still fucking up.
Fuck you!
I'll look like frickin' Finn from Adventure Time Distant Lands.
You look like The Weeknd off that new album cover.
Oh my god, that dropped today. Let's date the episode.
Not today. I think it was yesterday or the day before. But
Let's date the episode.
But this podcast has been one of the most fun things that I have done in a long time, and it is really fun to do with a good friend of mine. So we want to continue giving you content, and we want to expand the content that we give you.
Yeah, it's just mostly, we don't want to promise too much, because it's something, when it's a passion project, we really just want to try things. So it's like, well, what if we write something? What if we have a website? What if we go on YouTube? Or what if I finally sit my butt down and draw the caricatures I said I would make of us so we could get onto YouTube?
Yeah.
Asshole.
Or, we just record us talking and put that on YouTube, like normal people.
Like normal people. It's just a black screen.
It's just green screen, us, and then just insert random video game as the green.
It's how most TV studios do it.
I know.
Anyway, but yeah, we want to deliver more content to you, and we're stick around. We're going to put some more stuff out there.
So, that's my biggest resolution is I want to push this into the stratosphere. And if the stratosphere is a few hundred people are listening to us, awesome.
Shout outs to those who've been here from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. So stay tuned for all of that. It's going to be fun. The ride has already been a lot of fun. As you can tell, John and I love doing this. We love sharing our gaming knowledge, our gaming backgrounds, and just bullshitting about games. It's just fun.
Yeah, it's fun to do. Friend in a box. That's the concept. But other than that, any New Year's resolutions, personal ones?
Personal ones is, it's just be more present, be a little more mindful. My goal is to get back down to 180. So a lot of suffering in the gym, a lot of suffering on the plate. Yep. One meal a day, folks. It's very sad.
Jesus Christ. How are you going to do that? I've got I've got weight aspirations as well, whether it be through the pandemic fatigue or anything like that, or just the kind of holiday malaise. I've definitely let myself just eat and drink way too much nasty shit. So
shed the COVID weight.
Yeah,
that's the title.
It's the new freshman 15. It's the pandemic pounds. Jesus. But yeah, that's my big thing too. I started off this year, unfortunately, getting COVID, so that's why I was out of commission and why I still have a stuffy head-sounding voice now. But now that I'm coming out of that, I'm feeling way healthier. I'm feeling better. I started doing the Whole30 diet, just trying to, get all the crap out, really just start off this year fresh. And I've been making pretty good strides. And for as many of the slip-ups I've had, which, I won't go into some details, but, I still think I'm starting off this year a lot better than I started off last year. So it's already looking up.
So we wanted to share this with you because this podcast is also kind of a New Year's resolution. It's a love child of a mutual hatred of a list that has spawned into something very rewarding and fulfilling. And I think I speak for both of us here. A mutual resolution is that we want to continue growing this with you. And we don't care where it goes. Obviously, we want it to go tons of places because we want people to listen to our silliness.
Uh-huh.
But we just want to grow it with you. And thank you for listening to us because 12 fucking episodes of ridiculousness. Holy shit.
Yeah, you guys have listened to basically any audio book that's The Hobbit or some shit. It's 30 hours of books. You've listened to 30 hours of this.
And we had a feature-length film last episode.
God, you're right. That was 2 hours. How did you edit that? How did you stand listening to us talk?
At some points I just tone you out. I just put like
Just tune me out.
I just put like the Taco Bell dog every time you spoke, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds right.
Just the same voice line over and over.
Yo quiero the Taco Bell.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. I agree.
Absolutely. Taco Bell.
Yeah. And another quick resolution is honestly in the spirit of this show. I want to play more games. I feel like I feel like I just play the same games over and over. I want to play some new shit. So
with him saying that, I'm going to speak into existence yet another fun challenge.
Why did I do this to myself?
I was waiting. This was a lot of fun. Like, even though I'm probably never going to go back to the original Dead Rising, I did have fun with it. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to challenge John again. I gave him a traditional turn-based RPG, not too long. I'm going to give him something more action-y, more in-your-facey. That way, it's a little more engaging for him, and I think he'll appreciate that. So my challenge for you, John, when you're done with Lost Sphere, after you have recharged those RPG batteries, Tales of Arise.
All right. Challenge accepted. You spoke it into existence. I'm embracing it. There you go.
What do I play?
Dead Rising 2.
God damn it.
Dead Rising for the Wii. No.
Oh, God.
So if I want to find a new game for you, well, you have an Xbox now, so you can actually play Xbox games.
I know, right?
Holy shit. Let me put it on the spot here. I need to think of something I want to play. Shit. Have you even played your Halo Master Chief?
Nope.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I've been playing Astria Ascending.
Yeah. So?
I can't do what I used to do. I used to have like 15 games I would play simultaneously. That causes burnout. I am not letting myself burn out anymore.
All right, now
I'm just suffering through one.
Suffering through one. Okay. I like how it's suffering. Like even the what did we just talk about?
So I kid. It's not too much suffering. I do like Astria Ascending. I recommend you all play it. It's a very inexpensive game. I think it's being clearanced on pricing right now at GameStop. So check it out. Pick it up for like $15.
Have you played BioShock yet?
No, that is actually, so that came in the mail, actually.
All right, that's my challenge for you. Play BioShock.
Challenge not accepted.
End of show. End of series. New year starting off same as the last year. Fuck this.
No, definitely. So actually, when I'm done with Astria Ascending, I will load up BioShock, and that will be the game in for me.
I think you will enjoy it very much.
I'm excited. I mean, we did talk about it way back on episode 2 in the vein of a perfect video game, which, oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, a spoiler alert.
What?
As we have mentioned multiple times throughout our episodes, so you may have to go back and listen to see which other ones we recommended, but we are going to be doing another perfect video game list.
Where's the producer? I didn't know about this. I was not informed.
So John mentioned it for 4 or 5 different games that could have also been on that list, and I mentioned a few as well. So I hope you're ready. 2022 is going to be hit with a bang. We're going to have we're going to have different series coming out. We're going to continue our Fallen franchises. We're going to continue bringing you lists. We are actually almost done with our top 25 video games of all time. Mm-hmm. As John can say, we definitely put some thought into this. I had a giant list of games. I tried to be diplomatic how other lists do. And John's list was, no, these are my games that I like. And I'm like, oh, I could have done that. Well, shit.
Well, I don't want to, this is the longest wrap up we've ever done. Holy shit. No, like when we actually make that episode, there's still going to be games that are like slashed up to like the cutting point. You know what I mean? Because like if Dance Dance Revolution isn't on there, something's wrong.
So stay tuned. We have a lot of wonderful things coming out this year for you. John's got some awesome things in the works, episodes-wise. I've got some awesome things in the works, episode-wise. And the website should be up here relatively soon, so then you guys can check it out. We'll have direct links for all the episodes. I'm personally going to be starting a weekly retro review of a video game. I will do my best not to give you spoilers, regardless of how old the game is. If you choose for spoilers, that's on you. But that is something I'm really excited for. So I'm excited to see where we go this year with Games with John and James.
Flash forward 6 months later. Hey, guys, the website's finally up.
We move at the speed of slug. Oh, no, we move at the speed of the Air Force.
Oh, no.
Circling it home.
And now people know that we live in America.
I mean, you do remember that on a previous episode we mentioned we live in San Antonio, right?
Shit, now people can dox us.
Do you just blank everything out? Are you just like, all right, I'm done? Huh, what did I talk about for the last hour and a half?
Yeah, why think about anything? Nothing good got done by thinking. Just talk, and eventually your words will make sense.
So you're just literally like, walking, interact, forget, walking, interact, forget.
Meet Dave.
So this has honestly been our longest wrap-up ever, as John said, but we had so much that we wanted to share with you, from our resolutions to our future plans for the podcast. I'm going to continue to harass him on his little blue balls. I might bring a meat sponge back or two. But honestly, thank you so much for listening to us for 12 episodes. You have made this so much fun for us. And I'm excited to see what the future holds. I'm excited to keep producing this with John, keep harassing him, keep him humble.
Can't let me get my head too big. I become a fucking diva. You just watch out.
Oh, yeah, Sonic, you see, is better than everything.
Yeah. And? But yeah, good stuff coming around the corner, everybody. Here's 2022. I'm John.
And I'm James.
This was Games with John and James.
Episode 12 is in the books. We spoke into existence. Lots of stuff. And I'm singing for one outro. John hit a high note. Bye.
That was C? Yeah, whatever. All right.
See you guys.
Everybody.